We live.
We live?
We live.
We live. Hey, welcome in everybody. This is episode 1 of Context Matters on the Never Made It Network. I'm gonna be your host for tonight, man. My name is Ryan. I got my boy Ant with me. I got my boy Dot with me. This is the first show of many, man. So we finally got us three together on a show. We doing the sports bets and picks for y'all on the weekends. We're trying to bring a little weekend night show to it where we're talking about a little bit more opinionated topics, so to speak. So, how y'all feeling, man? I'm gonna pass it to you, Ant. How you feeling? You ready for the show tonight?
Bruh, I just had a great weekend. I watched college football all day. Now I'm about to shoot another show with the fellas. It's a beautiful day, beautiful night. I'm glad to be here
Man,
with y'all.
hell yeah,
Dot,
man.
Dot, how you feeling, brother?
Say, man, I got my drink, I got my smoke. I'm ready to talk this shit with the fellas,
Come on,
man.
man.
Let's
Come
do
on,
it.
man.
Let's go.
Straight up.
No free shout outs, so I ain't even gonna show you the label. You just gonna see a can, until they pay it. They gonna have to sponsor the show before they get
I
a
can
label,
dig it.
man.
Hell yeah.
So, like I said, man, we're gonna be talking about all different types of things in the sports world. And tonight we got a great show for you guys. I want to start because it's so relevant. We're a sports bet and picks show, on the weekends. They even do D and Tim do the Monday or the midweek NBAs too. So it's only fitting that we start with the sports gambling. Over the past week or two, the Terry Rozier, the Damon Jones, the Chauncey Billups. I mean, the list goes on apparently for all of this stuff going on with the sports betting, fixing games, or leaking information before the injury report comes out. Um, there's a lot going on right now in the sports gambling world. I want to get y'all take on it. Um, the sports gambling, first of all, do you think the fact that people are getting caught now because it's legal and there's monitors in place, do you think that this is bad for the sport, bad for sports gambling? And do you think that this has been pretty much going on for decades and decades and we just now catching it because it's legal? I'm gonna pass it to you, Ant. What are your take on the sports gambling stuff that's going on?
All right. Well, I think that it's been going on since way before we were born. Okay. Now, obviously, like with the mob, you hear like you watch mob movies and you see where it says like bookies or taking numbers. Like the mob is the one that really came out with the sports gambling, like as far as the odds and the numbers, the mob came out with that. So it's always been controlled. But now that it's legal, you know, you got like Rozier and Chauncey Billups getting caught up in the shit. It's not good for I wouldn't it's not good for the sport or it's not good for gambling simply because when you got like players like Rozier, um, if he's taken for 10 rebounds and he knows he's going to only get 8 just to fuck up the odds, it's not good for either one because it affects the sport and it affects the gambling side. So it takes away integrity from the sport and from the gambling. So it's not good at all. And really you're robbing people. You're robbing people like us that like to bet on the sport, like to watch the sport. You're taking away from the consumer. So I don't think it's good at all. And I think some people are owed some money, man. But Dot, what you think?
See, I don't even think it matter if it's good or bad, bro, because it's been going on forever. So of course, it ain't good, but it's always been prevalent. Like it's just confirmation. people getting caught now. So now it's like for most people, it's like, aha, I knew something was going on. But some of
Mm-hmm.
this shit is like, people throw out conspiracy theories. This is like a conspiracy theory that's been debunked. It's like we know the mob. Once the mob get in something, bro, it's not just a couple players. Don't be that naive to think that it's just a couple. These people that just got caught, don't think it just stopped there, bro.
Or it was their first time. They've been doing this.
It's not like this
You
is
don't
this.
get caught on your first
Yeah,
time.
no, this is something deeper. This is something deeper than just a few people, a few coaches, bro. It's just crazy how, as a gambler who gamble every day, that people will come out, bro, with certain accusations, and then they get busted and make you wonder about everything. Now,
Yeah.
it take you back through all your sports memories, every close game. Like,
Yeah.
'cause you can't tell me that Lakers Western Conference Finals against the Kings won at Game 6.
Well,
You know
then
what I'm saying? You can't tell me
exactly,
that shit. Like, that's crazy.
I forget his name, but the referee who came
Tim,
out,
Donahue.
Donahue, yeah, he came out saying a bunch of stuff about how he was maybe shading calls and doing all that. So that makes you know, okay, it's definitely prevalent. And then going back to the 70s, Pete Rose got busted for the gambling before it was legal, before they had all these monitors in place, and this thing's been going on multi decades back until the mob was formed, probably 40s, 50s.
Absolutely.
This shit could be going on since Babe Ruth.
Well, I
They
gotta.
threw the 1905, 1910 World Series, the White Sox, Black Sox. Yeah, they threw a whole goddamn.
Yeah,
Well,
They throw
I'll
this
say
shit.
exactly.
this. I'll say
So
this. I got to throw this in there real quick, Ron. And Dot, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But when Muhammad Ali fought Sonny Liston, their second fight, um,
Yeah,
he knocked him out with something called an anger punch, but he really didn't punch. It wasn't really a knockout. Anybody who wants to know about this sports gambling stuff, go back and watch Sonny Liston versus Muhammad Ali, their second fight, and that
second fight.
it explains everything you need to know. Sonny Liston through that fight, he worked for the mob. So as far as sports gambling and people being involved and, and manipulating things, this has been going on, like you said, Ryan, since before we were born. But
mm,
but now that it's legal, it does something because like you said, we have a sports gambling show. So we encourage people to gamble. We try to get them to our bets. But then you get news articles that come out that professional players are involved in fixing games.
yeah.
That's tough for people like us.
Let me ask you, Ant, does it change the fact that back in the day, this was some mob to mob transaction, right?
Right.
So if mobsters or people, people doing illegal shit are the ones who are getting, effed over essentially because these games are rigged, now the American people are gambling.
Right.
So now it's hitting a way wider audience of people who are I'm going through legal channels gambling and I might be throwing my money literally in the toilet. You might as well just catch it on fire because these games are rigged and
Well,
you don't know who's know what. So then now I'm throwing my money. We all work. So I'm working, I'm putting in 40, 50, $60 a week on my tickets and this shit might already have a predetermined outcome and we don't even know about it.
yeah, and then
That's where it comes into the fact of you know, should you continue to trust and bet, or or it's one thing where you might be rooting for these people to get busted because it's gonna purge and clean it out and actually make it a fair game for once in our
right,
lives. It
right.
actually might the
It'll
outcome
never
might be a good
happen.
thing.
It'll
Well,
never
I tell you this, man. Like when you see Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier getting caught up in this gambling stuff, I mean, me as a man, I don't want to see nobody go down for anything, right? But at the same time, me as a gambler, me as somebody who puts money in this every week, when you start weeding and seeding the bad seeds, so to say, the people who are predetermined in things, fuck them. You know what I mean? Hey, I mean, the fans are what makes the sport. If it wasn't for us, none of this shit
Yeah.
matter. Okay, if you're robbing me for my money, then and you get caught, the nigga then fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Period.
Terry
I mean,
Rozier.
I want to see nobody go to jail.
I think
But
it's
if
gonna
you
be
get
like it's gonna be like the steroids where back in the early 2000s everybody was getting popped because it was just now cracking down on it. Now it's still players today who are getting 80 game suspensions for PEDs,
Right.
and stuff, but it's only one or two here and there.
Right.
Eventually I think this storm is going to calm because the monitoring systems are going to get better to catch more people.
Mhm.
But I think right now it's still in the early stages. I think it's going to be more to come. It's going to be a lot of people that's going to start getting found out, and it sucks for Pete Rose, because he got that death penalty. But that's got to be the charges, man. It's the only way that
Well,
people got to know the risk of you're done. You're
let
not.
me throw
You're
let me throw
exiled
something
from
in
the
there though.
sport.
Let me throw something in there because the title of our show is Context Matters. So when you throw somebody like Pete Rose in there, just from his numbers and what he did on the field, on the
Oh,
diamond,
no doubter. No doubt.
then you know what I can say about Pete Rose is that context matters. He never betted on his team to lose. I mean, Pete and
That's what matters.
his production shows. I mean, he has a record that'll never be broken. So I'm not so mad at Pete Rose betting on his team to win when he was going out there getting hits and stuff. Now Rozier and Chauncey Billups, these niggas was fixing the game to where we would lose money. I mean, if you was betting on Pete Rose, you was winning. If you're betting on Chauncey Billups or
Absolutely.
Rozier, you're losing. There's a difference. Context matters.
Yeah.
I do think context matters in that context because what P Rose was doing, like he said, he was betting on his team to win. He out there
Okay.
playing, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
these guys are actually going out there giving player information. Chauncey Billups is a whole coach. He has a separate thing with the mob where he was the face of a poker game and they would lure unsuspected people in to come play poker with Chauncey Billups, and they done had see-through X-ray glasses and X-ray tables
Bro.
and bro, but see, look, it's bro, this is how deep it get, bro. But here's the thing that I can't. If I'm making all this money, bro, what is like Terry Rozier, $200,000, bro? What are we talking about
What are
here,
we
bro?
talking about?
Like
Yeah.
you're playing a dream. You're playing every little kid's dream.
Right.
$200,000, bro. What are we
Yeah, but
talking
listen
about?
though, but
Bro, it's
to
crazy.
the counter argument to that is $200,000 is what he got caught for. But if he doing 200,000 here, 200 here, 200 here, and he making an extra $1 to $2 million a year
Bro, is the
through
risk
it.
worth it though? Is it because
No, absolutely not.
you're
I'm
never
just telling
playing
you
in the
why.
NBA again. You're
But
never
yeah,
playing in the NBA again.
I'm just telling you why of somebody who might make millions. There ain't no excuse for it because you're a millionaire. But
Right.
You know he's from Youngstown, right?
yeah.
He look like that's some Youngstown nigga shit right there.
I'm like,
You in the NBA now. You done got tied up with the mob. Now you throwing games, nigga. Get the
Right.
fuck
Right.
out of
crazy,
here. Have
crazy.
y'all seen some of the clips?
I see.
This shit look like a circus. This shit look like a cartoon out there.
I question every human error I see now.
Mhm.
If a pitcher got a wild pitch and they go over the catcher's head, what the fuck was that about?
Bro,
Right.
didn't a few pitchers from the Indians get busted for betting,
Yeah.
throwing obvious
Emmanuel
pitches
Clase
and that?
and Luis Ortiz. And I seen the clips on that. That was crazy. Like one hit the grass.
But I will
A
say
pitch
this
hit the
though,
grass, man.
That's crazy.
and I
And
might be
then
wrong.
they had it was an influx of bets that the next pitch was gonna be a ball. And then he threw it in
Then
the
he
grass. It hit,
threw it in the grass.
come
I might
on.
be wrong
Now,
for saying this, man.
but listen, go ahead, Ant.
No, I apologize, bro. But as a sports bettor, a sports gambler, if I know this shit's going on and I know that, players and coaches are in on rigging the games, every once in a while, I'm gonna go ahead and take the underdog. I'm gonna try to outsmart the system, bro. Because if I know they're cheating this shit, why not go with the underdog and you're gonna make a couple dollars? Because that's
I
what the
mean,
fuck
but
I'm gonna do.
Man,
it's so
that's
random
like
though.
finding a needle in a haystack, though.
Exactly.
That's like
It's so random,
you
bro. It's
go
so random.
next time we hear from Ant, he gonna be like, I got St. Mary, South Alabama to beat Kentucky Wildcats college basketball. He's
Bro.
he gonna be you gonna be off the rails.
I knew that was a
The
little
next
far fetched, man.
I'm gonna pass this back to you, Ant. Do you feel like people who bet on themselves to win should receive a different type of punishment than motherfuckers who are just selling out completely? Or do you think you should have a uniform, like a uniform punishment for everybody who gets caught
No,
colluding
me
or betting
personally.
on it? So do you think players should, long as they're betting on themselves to do well and to win, should they even be allowed to make bets and stuff?
Well, it's a double standard because as soon as you said that, it reminded me of back when Charles Barkley was playing basketball and everybody was mad he wasn't being a role model for everybody, right? So if you want me to be a role model, I'm gonna bet on myself every single time because I want this young kid coming up watching me to bet on themselves. If you bet on yourself in life, you're gonna make it. You know what I mean? So I think
Mhm.
like for instance, Pete Rose, put him in the Hall of Fame right now. He bet on himself. And anybody watching him, if they emulate him, if you bet on yourself, if you bet on yourself in life,
It's good.
you gonna come out on top, bro. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you
Yeah,
ain't gonna
it's
bet on yourself, if you ain't gonna bet on yourself, don't bet on nobody else. That's how I feel. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So if I know Pete Rose bet on himself to win, man, put that man in the Hall of Fame, man. You know what I mean?
Okay. Man.
That's how I feel.
It is a double standard. I feel that I agree with you that he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I think they should. I think it should be a ban for all players. If anybody involved, coaches, players, staff members, if you have inside information, just don't bet.
If you have,
But
yeah, I feel you, but I think betting on yourself, you won't have. It's you
here's
against you.
here's the thing. Since they since they the FBI or whatever, whoever doing the investigation, obviously they got a job to do. If it can be proven that you threw games or gave information that would lead to, some shit. If like Pete Rose, instance, that's like nigga, literally you can prove he always bet on himself. He always bet on his team to win. Now Terry
Mhm.
Rozier and these niggas gave insider information, inside trading, and they threw games. If you can be proven that you didn't throw games and you was just betting, all right, your penalty should be different. But if it's proven that you threw games and that you was giving inside trading, you gotta go, bro.
Exactly. I think there should be uniform punishment for anybody who bets on it, but the punishment should be layered. It should be different.
Yeah, it should
Like
definitely be different, bro.
I don't think Pete Rose should get the death penalty because he bet on
Nah,
himself to
Absolutely.
win. But at the same time, you throw games, you should get the death penalty. You're done
well,
with sports. Just get out. You're never playing again. We're not doing no come back in 25 years and we cool. Nah, you're done.
let me say it like this. All right, so Bud Crawford and Canelo just fought, right?
Hmm.
Big fight. It wasn't no exhibition, it was a real fight. Okay. Now, if reports came out that Bud Crawford put $1 million on himself to win the decision, bro, he shouldn't get no penalty.
Hell no.
No, he
No,
shouldn't
hell
get
no.
no penalty because guess what? Sports gambling is illegal, and as long as an athlete bets on their self, I don't have a problem with that, bro. I think that should be allowed. He's betting on himself to win. Who
Right.
wouldn't? Who wouldn't? You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I will say this, vice versa. This wouldn't come out, but let's say Bud Crawford betted $1 million for Canelo to win. Nigga, we have a problem. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? As long as
Yeah.
athletes bet
Yeah.
on themselves, I think they should be allowed to, and it should be put out there to the public. Okay, we know Canelo put $1 million on himself to win, or Bud Crawford
Right.
put $1 million on himself to win. Okay, let them do that, bro. You know what I mean? Let
Mhm.
them come
Especially
up
what
off the
it
gambling
takes.
shit too.
Yeah, especially what it takes mentally for these people are the best athletes in the world. You got to have a certain level of confidence in yourself to even achieve them type of heights.
Right.
If you want to put your money where your mouth is and put $1 million down, you about to beat Canelo, then I feel you. That should be allowed. And we should,
Facts.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great transition since we started talking about
Just
boxing.
about to say that. That's a perfect alley oop, man. That was some
Yeah,
beautiful shit
that's
right
a
there.
perfect
That was
transition.
pretty.
We're gonna move this over into the boxing world. Um, we got a big fight coming up between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. I wanted to ask y'all opinions about these exhibition fights, right? We've had Tyson versus Roy Jones. We had Jake Paul, all his fights, Tyson, um, everybody he's fought, Woodley, everybody. Do you think that the system is broken in boxing, where a top flight boxer will fight a Jake Paul or do an exhibition fight to get the bag, you know, rather than fighting another top contender and still getting the bag? It's almost like if you fight a riskier fight, you're not rewarded for it. I think that's how the boxers are looking at it anyway. And
Nah,
it's
see,
driving us into these meaningless celebrity matches almost. And I just want y'all take on that.
all right, let's dive. Look, since I'm the boxing expert on this panel, since I'm the boxing expert on this
Okay.
panel, since I'm the one that's gonna bring up all the facts, and I know, Ant know his shit. He's not better than me, but
Okay.
since I'm the boxing expert, bro, I'm gonna dive straight into this because there's layers to this shit. So on on one level, you got you gotta ask yourself, why did you even start boxing? Niggas don't start boxing, bro, for fun. So, it's not something you
Yes.
do for fun because it's a serious thing. It can get you fucked up.
Right.
So you gotta ask yourself, why do niggas start boxing? It's for money. So at a certain point, you gotta respect, like, okay, nigga getting the bag. You know, a nigga still going in there and gotta take punches, but nigga getting the bag. So I mean, especially if he done put in a certain amount of work in the ring anyway. It's not like Tank, for instance, is like a cartoon fighter. He done put in work. So if he want to go get a bag, you can't, you gotta respect it. That's where the bag is at because it's entertainment at the end of the day.
I know, but
Jake
Doc,
Paul is going to draw people into boxing, bro. That's another good thing too. He's going to draw people into boxing who would never watch boxing. But now the only thing I respect about this, I don't respect this fight because the weights are so crazy. But what I do respect it is he in there with somebody who could really knock him out.
Go
On a
ahead.
real, like
Go ahead,
really,
Ron.
really could knock him out. Like really, like probably like if it's not scripted, and we don't know, it's not scripted, I think Tank should knock him out. Like it shouldn't be close.
before I pass it over to Ant, my counter is okay. So Jake Paul is bringing people to boxing viewers. That's a good point. On the contrary, though, it's not that I don't fault Javante or anybody for going to get the bag. The real question is why does he have to fight Jake Paul for the bag and not fight another top contender for the bag? Has boxing failed?
Yes, and now let me jump in. Boxing
Yeah.
has failed because really, if we're being honest, Gervonta Tank Davis should be fighting Roach next immediately because the last fight was so close. You got half the boxing fans that say Roach won. Okay, but here's the
Mhm.
problem: Tank is going to make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will Roach, and the key word is prize fighter. He is a prize fighter. So me as a prize fighter, the key word is prize. If the bag is bigger fighting Jake Paul, I'm fighting Jake Paul. Period. Okay. So to
Yeah.
answer your question, boxing has failed because if I'm the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, I'm gonna make sure that Tank Davis gets more money fighting Roach than he does Jake Paul. But guess what? That won't happen. Now,
Right.
Jake Paul is considerably bigger than Tank. Okay. Now, if
It's
anybody
not.
knows,
It's laughable the weight difference. It's
it's
laughable.
laughable. So look, I mean, Tank could be a world class. I mean, he no, not could be. He is a world class boxer. But the thing is, for him to knock somebody out that weighs 30 pounds more than him, bro, that's tough. That is fucking tough, man. I don't see Tank knocking out Jake Paul, and if he did, I wouldn't be
Man,
surprised. He's
I
world
see
class.
this.
He's
I see
world
this as
class.
a glorified sparring match.
But here's the problem, though.
Because
Here's the
that's what
problem.
all the Jake Paul fights, like, yeah, they're right. There's punches thrown. It's real punches being thrown. I'm not saying they're rigged or anything like that, but they're glorified sparring matches.
Well,
You
I will
know?
say this though. I will say this. Jake Paul, you gotta give him his roses, man. Like he's smart. He
No,
knocked out
facts, facts,
he
facts.
knocked out Woodley. He beat Silva. Like he's taking UFC fighters that are his weight class and beating them in boxing. So you can't nobody tell me Jake Paul don't got skills because he does. Okay, now fighting somebody his weight class in boxing is a whole nother story. That's why he's fighting Tank. But the main thing is this: Tank's gonna see more money fighting Jake Paul than he will Roach, and that is the problem. You
It's
know,
gonna be the most money he ever made.
yes, the WBA, the IBO, the IBF, they should
What
say,
I
okay, there's a problem here. We need to put the bag up. We need to make sure Tank's getting more money fighting Roach than he would Jake Paul. And then this would be eliminated. But
yeah,
they won't do that.
no,
So he's got to
and
fight Jake Paul.
you know what I think boxing messed up, and it was decades ago. Is my dad tells me stories about how when he was a kid, he could put on Channel 3 and watch Foreman versus Ali
Facts.
or all these different fights. When boxing went to the pay-per-view style, and and this is what's really messed up, is they went to the pay-per-view style. Remember, UFC came out and it was on Spike TV. You could
Right.
just turn on Spike TV and you would watch some UFC fights.
Yeah.
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 And it grew a fan base because it was accessible.
Hmm.
And when boxing was at its peak was when it was accessible. And they've lost a whole generation of fans. And it takes a Jake Paul, a streamer with a whole different style of fans to come in to bring attention back to the sport. So at the same time, it's like I could argue that boxing almost needs Jake Paul, which is sad, but I could argue that they almost need Jake Paul because it's bringing people back who have just said boxing's boring. I'm watching UFC. They kicking each other, elbowing each other in the head, you know. And there's an art and a skill to boxing that I think people are really just missing out on because they don't market it right. They should they should have it on like a NFL Sunday where they got a whole list of fights, but because the system is so terrible, none of the top fighters want to match up and fight and risk losing to make a whole Saturday showdown. You get 3 title fights, all types of stuff, man. They could be
It's
doing so
not
much
even the
with it.
fighters, bro. It's not even the fighter. It's the promoters, bro.
The
You're right.
promoters.
It's
Yes.
not even the
Yes.
fighters. It's
I
not even the fighters, bro.
I agree.
Because you will have fighters wanting to fight each other, but because one is signed over here and one is signed over here, and these promoters don't get along and they never do business with each other,
Right.
then
Right.
that's another reason why some of the fights don't the big fights won't get made is you would hear like, oh, he on that side. You know why we can't get the fight now. He on that side.
Right.
But like, and it's petty, but that's just the politics of boxing, bro. And it's like that's why I
That's
do respect what Dana White and him is trying to get going over there with, the Turkish dude that they trying to get all this shit under one umbrella. Like fuck all these different
Right.
like fuck all that. All right, WBC, all that. No, we're gonna fight for one belt. It's gonna be an undisputed belt in every division. Nigga, you come over here, everybody gonna fight, and the best motherfucker gonna win. So that's why I respect what they trying to get going.
me
But
too.
but far as the politics of boxing, bro, it's always been a political thing, bro. It's
Always.
always been a political thing.
Always. I mean,
Behind the
and
scenes.
honestly, like the viewers don't know, me and Dot have known each other for years. We went back and forth for years. But I tell you what, Dot, if Bob Arum wasn't a promoter and Floyd Mayweather wasn't a promoter, Pacquiao and Mayweather would have fought years before they did. It's just exactly what you said. The fact that Mayweather and Bob Arum didn't get along, we didn't get that fight when we were supposed to get that fight. You know what I mean? So
It's
like
a whole
Facts.
bunch of reasons, but that definitely was one of the major factors. Is
that's
because
a major factor, bro.
Pacquiao
So
was with Bob.
yeah,
Pacquiao
he
was
was. Yeah,
he
he
was
was with
with
Bob
Bob
Arum.
Arum for a while.
So I
Yeah.
mean, but the exhibition, like I'll be honest with y'all. If I was a prize fighter, which I'm not, but if I was, and they offered me 50 million to fight Jake Paul, but only 15 million to fight Roach, I'm fighting Jake Paul because
Every
guess
day of
what?
the week. And it's not even
Every day of the
It's
week.
not even a question. I
yeah.
gotta
Yeah,
feed my family, bro.
period, man. And guess
And
what?
you can't blame him. What did Terrence Crawford say when he was on Shannon Sharp? He's like, "You gonna fight Jake Paul?" You're like, "No, if they offer you 100 million, you gonna do?" He's like, "I'm fighting Jake
I'm
Paul."
fighting Jake Paul. Right.
Because
So
that's where we at. That's just where we're
right.
at. Yeah, and you're not gonna
Okay,
blame none of the
but
boxers. You're not gonna blame none of the boxers. It's more about a systemic issue
Right.
with boxing that needs to be fixed. But I I don't know if they'll ever fix it. I think Dana White is the best chance they have, man, at
Yeah.
getting this shit unified. Like I think that was a great point what you made, Dot. They need everything under one umbrella, so now we can get these matchups. Like the UFC is doing it right. They about to have a whole White House card with like all the best fights on one card, and they're gonna fight on the lawn of the White House. Imagine
But
that you could get a boxing matchup like that,
but here's the
exactly.
problem. Here's the problem with that, and I'm just gonna be honest. So you mentioned Dana White. Now, when you go from boxing to UFC, now in UFC we always get the best fights. The best fighters fight the best fighters. Okay, but one thing we've always heard in the UFC is that the fighters are underpaid. So when Oscar De La Hoya promoted an event that had Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz fighting at old ages, it's because they needed money. They wasn't getting paid enough with the UFC. So like boxing has it right as far as the top boxers get paid the most. You know what I mean?
Right.
To where Pacquiao, if Pacquiao and Mayweather retired right now, they would never have to fight again ever. But if Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell retire right now, they might have to take a fight under Oscar De La Hoya because Dana White ain't paying like boxing is. You know what I mean? So it's a
Yeah.
double-edged sword. You're gonna get the best fights over here with UFC, top fighter, top fighter. But in boxing, they pay so much more for the top fighters. You know what I
See, the
mean?
top guys in UFC are
Yes,
getting paid the big dollars because
but
that's
not
where
like
all this
boxing though.
endorsement gonna go.
Not like
Boxing,
boxing, bro.
see,
Boxing,
the UFC is kind of segregated for real,
right, right.
because you can only be endorsed by companies that's in business with the UFC.
Hmm.
So like fighters like, Pereira, is that his name? I'm saying it right, the top guy right now.
Yeah.
For him, he can't sign with a sponsorship outside of the UFC.
A 360 deal.
It's a deal to where you can
Nigga
only
It's a
signed
work.
his rights.
360 deal.
You can
Yeah,
only
you
work with the
signed your
sponsors
rights,
that
boy.
you
Yo.
work with. Type shit.
Yeah,
You know
your
what I'm saying?
likeness is owned by the UFC.
Right,
No, real
right,
shit, bro. It's
right.
It's
Real
crazy.
shit. But
If I'm not right, I'm not all the way off about that.
No, I feel you.
nah,
It's some
exactly.
crazy
But
shit.
feel
It's
you.
some crazy shit, bro.
yeah, it is, man. It really is. But like I said, I think Dana White might be the still. I think that's the best way to go about it. You
They
still pay. You
trying.
still pay him more. You still pay him more. But you know, I think the UFC fighters are underpaid, especially for what they do
They
and
are.
everything.
They really are.
That is a good point about how much money there is. That's why it's almost like it can get better, but I don't know if it's ever be fixed. Like
Right.
what Dana White was able to do with the UFC is insane because
Insane.
it's got such a structure around it. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. No
But
doubt.
I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch this back, switch topics again. The next topic I want to bring up, man, is Shador's situation. Shador Sanders has been a very controversial topic. I think I'm a Browns fan. He got drafted by the Browns, so I even have some personal fan interest of I like the team he's on, and where I know a lot of people don't give a damn about the Browns. They like Shador. I wanted to get y'all takes on one. Do you think that there's been any like unfairness towards him or nepotism towards him where he's gotten too much praise or too much attention because of who his father is? And then after watching Dylan Gabriel play for a few weeks, what are y'all feelings about, do y'all think just he's being done wrong in Cleveland? I'll pass it to you first, Dot, on this one. The Shador situation. How do you feel, man? Fair or not fair how he's being treated?
It's completely unfair because there's so many question marks behind it. So if you had to just judge it, you got to call it unfair. Only because we didn't seen enough out of Dylan, and I say we because I live in Ohio. So just by living in Ohio, I got some attachment to the goddamn Browns, whether I give a fuck about them or not. But the Browns organization is so poorly ran, bro. And it just make you wonder what the fuck is Stefanski doing. Like you had a job to do. As a business, it don't make sense. Like if this dude got the #1 selling rookie jersey and all the fans is calling for this dude, and it ain't like it's uncalled for because we done seen Dylan. Why wouldn't you as an organization? As an organization, why wouldn't you just want to have Shador suiting up at this point in the season just to see what he got?
But this
It's
is what I'm gonna
business
say.
wise,
Yeah.
it makes sense, and I think it'll give the players a spark because that shit's sad, man.
Okay, man. Listen, this is what I'm gonna say to it.
Go ahead, bro.
You know, the business side of it should never ever any good organization, any good franchise is gonna keep business away from the football side of it. Now, when you mix the business side in with the football, that is exactly what the Browns have been criticized for over the last 20 years. I mean, the GM calling down on the field asking to put Johnny Manziel in, or the owner interfering and telling the GM who to take with the first pick. So
I get what you're
and
saying,
then
bro.
and
In
the
this situation,
Browns,
though,
I know, but and the Browns are a terrible organization as a
I'm waiting
Browns
for
fan.
that's why.
I'm waiting for the
But
fourth.
listen, he wasn't. Every team had multiple chances to take this guy, and he fell to the fifth round. The league told you he fell to the fifth round, not the Browns. So I think there is a little portion of it of the fans and the media loved Shador more than the NFL ever loved Shador. And the NFL, it don't matter who your dad is or who the hype is. If you can play, they gonna draft your ass.
Well,
And the fact that he fell to the fifth round, I do think his father and his celebrity played a factor in him dropping from a second round pick to a fifth round pick. But I
What are we
don't
talking
think
about?
it had any
Second round
effect
pick.
of him not going in the first round.
What is
So I,
it?
hold up. I'm jumping in. Fuck it. I'm jumping in. Okay. We're talking about a fifth round draft pick. Okay. Now, if his last name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't be talking about this guy right now. Do you know how many quarterbacks went in the 5th round? I don't either. Okay. I don't either. Now, the fact that his last name's Sanders and his dad is a Hall of Fame, maybe, arguably one of the best NFL players of all time, we're talking about the kid. Okay. I think we should be thankful that the Cleveland Browns drafted him because nobody else was going to. All right.
Mhm.
Now we're talking about why ain't he getting a shot? Why ain't he getting a shot? He was drafted in the 5th fucking round, man. What are we talking about right now? It's like I saw Arch Manning had a good game today against fucking Vanderbilt, right? And they're talking about Arch Manning looks like a Heisman Trophy candidate. Why? Because his last name is Manning and he had one good game. Forget about the last name. I don't give a fuck if his last name is Manning or Sanders or any of that. He's a 5th round draft pick. The only reason we're talking about him is because his last name's Sanders. All right, so let's move on and let Dylan Gabriel develop into the quarterback he's supposed to be. Look, I was a fan. I was a fan of Colorado. I was a fan. Okay, I was a fan. But let's be honest. If he's not cut for the NFL, then he's not cut for it. And I don't care what his last name is. And that's how I
Okay,
feel.
so do you think Manning is gonna get drafted off of his play or
No.
by his last name?
His last name, the
Okay,
same as Sanders. The same as Sanders.
Okay, so do you see a problem? Do you see a problem if Manning gets drafted in the 1st or 2nd round because of his name, but Sanders gets drafted in the 5th round because of his name?
Absolutely. No, Manning should be drafted in the 5th round. And guess what? When Manning gets drafted in the 5th round, I don't want to have a conversation about why ain't Manning starting. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. Hard times make tough men. Okay. Shador Sanders ain't never had a hard time in his life. Neither did Arch Manning. But guess what? I bet you Peyton and I bet you fucking Dion did. This is why they were dogs. Period.
You're drunk.
Man, get the fuck out of here, bro.
You're drunk. You're
tell
drunk.
me Shador Sanders.
This whole last little minute and a half you done went on this shit.
Man, look, bro. So you're telling me Shador Sanders really deserves to be the starting quarterback of the Browns over Dylan Gabriel?
No. And I'm with Ant. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like tell you, whatever you sipping out that can, you're drunk also. Here's the facts of the matter. The facts of the matter is the facts. The facts is on every draft board that we saw to the public, this man was 1, 2, maybe 3.
Get out of here, man.
No, the last mocks had him going end of the 1st round to the Steelers by the time draft day came around. And you know what?
Did they not have him, Cam Moore, and Jackson Dart as the best? Answer this. Did they not have him, Cam Moore, and Jackson Dart as the best 3 quarterbacks coming out that year?
Yes, I agree.
How did he fall to the 5th round? We all know it's speculation on other shit, but hold up, man, and Ryan, because my point is, for the poor organization of the Browns and for a man's quarterback rating, QBR, that done went down every week, we didn't see him for 5 straight weeks. All right. We get here rookie, and we get here. Let him develop to what he's going to be. That's what the fuck.
Let me say something real quick. I gotta take the floor. I gotta take the floor.
We don't even know what Shador is going to be. We don't even know what Shador is going to be. We seen him in 2 preseason games. That's what I'm saying. You niggas is drunk. We done seen more tape of a nigga failing than a nigga who ain't never even got a chance.
Okay, that's fine. But here's the thing. I hear you talking about the Browns organization and how they suck and how they don't know how to develop quarterbacks. But here's the problem. The Browns are the ones who drafted him in the 1st round. The Colts didn't. The Bengals didn't. The Ravens didn't. Nobody else gave this kid a chance. Okay? So me personally, I'm happy that the Browns drafted him and gave him a chance to be a backup quarterback, to be a practice squad quarterback. Nobody else did. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about how the Browns don't know what they're doing. Skavansky don't know what he's doing. They drafted the kid in the 5th round. If they wouldn't have drafted him, maybe nobody else would have. And
you know how many teams draft players and cut them? Nigga, what the fuck is that saying? They gave him a chance.
But listen, Doc. No, and this is my point though. You saying that like it's a Browns issue, but the Browns are the only persons who did draft him. It was the 5th round. So every team in the league has passed on this guy. And guess what? Here's my thing too.
It's way more than what the public will ever know, man.
Dylan Gabriel has not looked great. I want to see Shador play. You know, I
Okay.
do, but I don't think he's been mistreated by the NFL or definitely not the Browns because we're the ones who drafted him and gave him a chance. If I was Shador, there's no other team I'd want to go to other than the Browns because this is the best chance I got to win.
Let me
He
ask
told
you
the
a question.
Ravens, the Ravens wanted to take him in the 5th round after the Browns pick. So the Ravens didn't even pass on him in the 5th round yet. They were going to take him up. 2 reports.
Bro, he
But
misplayed.
listen, he
in
told the
draft.
Ravens he didn't want to go and be Lamar's backup. He
Let me
told the
ask y'all a
Ravens that.
question. Let me ask y'all
He
a
told
question.
the
He
Ravens that.
misplayed, bro. Him
Bro,
and his whole team misplayed the whole draft process. That's what made him
get the
fall
fuck out of
and
here,
other
bro.
factors. But what I'm saying is, bro, there's no way,
No, I don't want to hear that.
bro, that he got drafted
Yo,
later than some of these dudes,
No,
bro.
nah.
Ant, to
No,
counter your
Let me
argument,
take the
Ant.
floor. Let me take the floor. Okay.
Okay.
Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't participate in the draft process. The going to the draft combine, Marvin Harrison Jr. did none of it. And he got drafted in the 1st round by the Arizona Cardinals. Okay. So I don't want to hear that Shador's team messed it up for him because guess what?
Marvin Harrison
Marvin
probably
Harrison
didn't say
Jr.
some of the shit that
did
Shador
the
said
same
either.
thing. Did the same thing that Shador did, but he got drafted in the 1st
The
round. Now let me ask
personalities
y'all a
is
question.
different, bro.
Nah, I got one
The,
question.
the
Who was a
personalities.
better, bro? Who was a better quarterback in college, Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders? Answer the question. Who was
And
better in
we
college?
talking about statistics. We talking about Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel was better in college. So, all right, that's what I have to go off of. And if I'm the Browns, as far as practice and preseason, I have to go off that too. Now, these guys know something more than what we do. That's why Dylan Gabriel's getting the chance he's getting. Now, if Shador Sanders didn't have the last name that he has, we wouldn't be talking about him right now. That's all I'm saying. We
See,
wouldn't
I
be
could
talking about him.
no. See, this is the thing. We wouldn't be talking about him because he'd be irrelevant now. But I
Exactly.
still think.
But
But I do think.
you know why? You know why that's not a
No, hold
fact?
on. Let me say this real quick. But I do think if Deion Sanders, if his last name wasn't Sanders, he would have got drafted higher than the 5th round. So
Maybe.
that's my argument is that
Okay.
I don't think the Browns have misdone him at all. I think that he went in the 5th round. There's a lot of factors into it. But if you're telling me last name out of it, there is different styles of quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel was better in college, but the transition to the NFL, Shador Sanders has more traits that translate to the NFL better. In my opinion, I would have
Absolutely.
personally drafted Shador over Dylan. I
Get the
think
fuck out
Shador is.
of here, man.
I
No,
would. I
you
would
would
have.
no, fuck you
But I
won't,
don't
man.
think. I don't think that. I think the Browns took a chance on the kid because one, we have no quarterback, and if we can get Dylan Gabriel, the guy we actually wanted, because we took him in the 3rd round, and then we get Shador as a flyer because everyone's passing on him, and we'll take him and see what happens. My argument now is I think he should play because Dylan has been terrible. So play Shador, but he hasn't been mistreated by, especially not by the Browns. He should be happy we took him because
All
he
right.
wouldn't even be close to touching the field with nobody else.
And
Period.
you're
I'm gonna throw something
crazy.
out there. I'm gonna throw something out there, to y'all. The Browns. I don't know what the record is this year. Okay. Now I hear you saying let's go ahead and play Shador because it can't get no worse. Let me tell you something. As a coach in the NFL, I'm trying to win games. You know why I'm trying to win games? Because I'm not trying to lose my job. So if
Right.
I'm looking at it every week and I see that Dylan Gabriel's better than Shador Sanders, I don't give a fuck if he plays or not, man. I'm playing Dylan Gabriel every single week because I have a better chance of winning football games than I do with Shador Sanders.
What
Period.
have you won? What have you won?
But I have a better chance. Better chance, bro. And can't nobody look. Look, we love college football, we love NFL.
QBR
No,
every game.
nobody in this chat is going to tell me that Shador Sanders was a better college quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel went to New York to compete for the
Average
Heisman
yards per
Trophy.
throw.
To
Average
compete for
yards
the
per
Heisman
throw.
Trophy. He was playing better competition. He played in Big Ten. Okay,
6 yards per throw.
come on, man. I mean,
That's
look,
what you're
I
operating with.
I don't
That's what
have
you're
nothing against Shador. Look, I
6
think that
yards
I,
QBR.
I
18.6.
let me tell you something. I think that a
18.6.
practice
It
squad
can't get
quarterback.
no worse. It can't get no
Hear me.
worse.
It actually
Can't get
can
no
though.
worse.
It actually
No,
can.
it
Bro.
can't. No,
It
it can't.
can. It
No,
can.
it can't.
And I'm
Your
gonna tell you
best
this.
player got 5 sacks in a loss.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you
Best
this.
player got 5 sacks with no offensive help.
Yeah, that's
Look, if
terrible.
I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But here's the thing: they haven't started the kid yet. There's a reason for it, bro. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all I'm
Yeah.
hey,
saying.
to no, listen, to Ann's point. the reports that are coming out of Cleveland is he's not ready, right? And it's something in the film room or whatever is going on. We don't know, but the reports is he ain't ready, and you everything lined up for him to start. Like bye week, when we come back from the bye week, we got the Jets. Like everything is lined up, but he's not ready. That's what they're saying. He's not ready, and at some point the league is going to tell you what you are. So yeah, this first year where he gets drafted, yeah, this is all flexible. But eventually the league is going to tell you what you are. If you are not good enough, you will not play. And when you get your chance to play, if you don't prove that you're worth it, then you're going to get the bench. So at the end of the day, this problem is going to work itself out because if he can play, he's going to play like last 4 games, whatever it is, he's going to play. What he does when he plays is going to determine it. And guess what? If I was Shador, you might want to not be pushing too hard to play. We got the worst offensive line. We got the worst receivers. We got the worst scheme. People are dropping passes. The line ain't blocking. I feel bad that he's got to fucking go in. I do. I feel like,
Yo,
I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Look, we love sports. We're fans, but we sometimes forget that a backup quarterback has his place in the league. A practice squad quarterback has his place in the league. We need practice squad quarterbacks. We need backup quarterbacks. Okay. No, I'm real shit though. Like if Shador is a practice squad, if he's practice squad, let him be a practice squad quarterback, bro. He's not. Man, look, bro. All I'm saying is this. He's the only 5th round quarterback that has got this much exposure. Why? Because his father is arguably the greatest NFL player of all time.
Listen, though. Oh, yeah, you brought me right back to the point I was going to make, bro. Listen, he would be getting talked about because he was a projected top 3 quarterback coming out of college. So no matter what his fucking last name was, when he got his chance, they was going to be talking about it because he slid from top 3 to the 5th round. Wherever he went in the draft, motherfuckers was going to be looking at what team was going to take him and when was he going to play football. If you don't think that, you drunk, literally.
Well, I might be drunk.
Don't matter what his last name was. It don't matter what his last name was. He was a top 3 quarterback, and
he was not in the fucking top 3, bro.
You're drunk.
Stop it. Because guess what? I saw time out. Dylan Gabriel was better in college. I saw Kyle McCord lead the nation in passing yards last year. Man, if you watch college football, you can't tell me Shador was one of the top 3 quarterbacks, nigga. No fucking way, man.
I gotta cut you off. We're not saying Kyle McCord was better than Shador Sanders.
He was.
Context matters. Listen, hold on. Context matters committee has just phoned in. We got felonious assault by Ant. That is a red flag.
Time out.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You mean to tell me?
Hold on. I'm starting a tradition tonight. We got felonious assault. We got fucking the first red flag here is gonna be going against Ant. That's number 1 for Ant. What a terrible take. Don't ever
pull up
bring
the numbers, man. Pull up the no. Stop.
And we're starting. Let me talk. We're starting a ban list. I'm gonna start a ban list of names we can't bring up no more in the show. And Kyle McCord is gonna be first. We're not talking about Kyle McCord.
Please. I'm begging right now. I don't beg, but I'm begging right now.
I'm banning Kyle McCord from the talk.
Time out.
What was Alabama's quarterback last year?
Jalen Milroe.
Hold on. Let's hear this, Anthony. Was Jalen Milroe better than Shador Sanders in college football?
Absolutely.
Get him off the show. You're not allowed.
Absolutely. Man, look. Time out.
Jalen Milroe is better than Kyle McCord.
Okay, that's fine. I'll give you that. But here's the thing. All right, context matters. Context. Now look. Put Jalen Milroe with Joe Horn, with Travis Hunter. Tell me he don't do better than Shador Sanders. And if you say Shador Sanders does better, you're fucking lying, man.
He played at Alabama. What kind of point was that?
What kind of point was that? What I'm saying is this: context matters. Context matters.
Listen. Context matters. Hey, listen. We're gonna change subjects now because you've already got a red flag. We got Kyle McCord on our ban list, and I'm actually writing this down.
He led the nation in passing.
Bro, don't bring up Kyle McCord again on this show,
At Syracuse,
I'm putting my foot down.
He had better numbers. No. He had better numbers at Syracuse. Period.
I'm putting my foot down,
You can't say nothing right now, bro. You know, I ain't lying. I'm not lying.
Listen. We're gonna agree to disagree. We moving on to our next topic.
All right.
Kyle McCord is no longer mentioned on the show for life. The rest of the life of this show, we're not talking
Neither,
about this guy.
neither is Shador Sanders then.
Okay. Okay.
Neither is Shador.
That's to be determined because if he starts balling, we'll talk about him.
Balling on the
The
practice
next
squad?
topic, next topic on the list. We've had some sad news, man. This is like to switch it to a more serious topic. We've had some sad news recently about there was a player for the Bengals, a running back who killed himself. Rudy Johnson, is that his name? Rudy
Rudy
Johnson.
Johnson, yes, yes.
Okay, and then also the Doug Martin situation where he died. He died in police
Mhm.
custody. There were some reports that his parents had called the police on him, or it was something like that, where he was tripping. And it makes you think more. Even I know this is older, but even with the Antonio Brown situation, it makes you think about CTE when these people start acting like this, taking their own lives, making crazy decisions, and it makes you think about your kids. We all got kids.
Right.
Would you or would you not, take all the CTE considerations in to if you allow your son to play football? I have two boys, myself, 5 and 3, so I think about this, and when it's the question is presented to me, I always say, yeah, I don't want to be that type of parent where I tell my kid, he can't do something that he's interested in doing. And I
Mhm.
don't also want to lead with fear. Like I don't want to be a fear monger when it comes to my parenting style.
Right.
And my thing is I told my fiance this, and I've told this to friends. Like right now he's 5. My oldest is 5. I want him to play soccer to get some feet-eye coordination.
Right.
We about to start a baseball for some hand-eye coordination. And at 7, 8, 9 years old, if he wants to do flag football or something, I'll let him do flag until he's 11 or 12, and then I would let him do contact or let him tackle and do real football.
Right. Right.
And even I don't even know if that's still the right play, with all this stuff coming out, but for me, I would let my son play football, even with all the things I know, but I would like to get him started at a later age, is
Right.
really what I'm saying.
Right.
How do y'all feel about CTE and how it relates to letting our kids play football, which a lot of people have kids, boys, who want to play football, and we let them play football. Is that the right play or not?
Can I go ahead and lead this, Doc?
Yeah, go ahead, Ant.
Yeah, do your
Okay. Now,
thing.
I got a 16-year-old son and I have a 15-year-old son, both of which have played football. And before their first year of football, I made them sit down and watch the Will Smith movie called Concussion. Okay. Now, I feel kind of irresponsible because I feel like I should have made the decision, but I let them make the decision because CTE is real. No matter, I mean, look, they say baseball is America's pastime. I feel like it's really football. We're more passionate about football than we are anything else. And I feel like most of the country is too. Okay. But CTE is real. I mean, when you have Junior Seau blow his heart out his chest and donate his brain to the CTE doctors, that lets you know something. Warren Sapp has been on camera saying that he's already donated his brain to CTE because he knows something's wrong. Okay. Now, the doctor who discovered CTE came out and said, if you love your kids, you won't let them play football. Because it's not just about getting concussions to where you're getting benched for a couple weeks. He said every time an offensive line goes up against a defensive line, there's a concussion made every single play. Okay. So, with that being said, I love football so much. I let both of my sons play football, knowing that information. What does that make me? That bothers me to this day because you can't argue with science. You can't argue with doctors. Period. They get paid the way they do for a reason. Okay,
Yeah, I think the evidence is undisputable. It's
it's
it's it's
undisputable.
it's whether how much do you value it, and also too how much do you want to guide your kids in the correct path.
Right.
Like I said, I don't want to be a controlling type of parent where I'm telling them, nah, you can't play this, you can't do this, even though all your friends is doing it. But at the same time, the evidence is kind of crazy that
It's crazy.
it's crazy evidence, man, that shows it. And
Crazy.
then they came out with the Guardian caps. The
Yeah.
players be wearing them Guardian caps. And then motherfuckers be roasting them like, look at this goofy motherfucker
Let me
wearing a
t-
Guardian cap. You know what I'm
look.
saying?
I ain't gonna try to take up the whole segment, Dot. I want to hear your opinion. But my thing is this: if the Guardian caps work or help just a little bit, I think it should be mandated that every player should have to wear them because CTE is real. And if you don't believe me, look at Rudy
Yeah.
Johnson, who was 40 something years old and killed himself. The first thing I thought of when he killed himself was CTE. And anybody else that heard Rudy Johnson killed himself, the first thing that crossed your mind was CTE because we all know it's real. Okay,
Yeah.
and now let me throw one more thing out there. You got CTE, right? And we pay attention to professional athletes that have CTE that kill themselves. What about the high school players that didn't make it to college? What about the college players that didn't make it to the NFL?
Right.
Now you have so-called criminals who kill people, kill themselves that we don't even pay attention to. There's people in prison right now that have CTE that nobody's paying attention to because they were high school football stars that didn't make it. So I think the CT shit is real, and we have to and look. As much as I love football more than any other sport, we have to pay attention to it. And I think that there have to be measures. If it's the Guardian cap, we have to do something about this because it's
And then
serious and
it's
it's real.
yeah.
See,
Dot, what you feel about it, Dot?
see, I feel like the thing about CTE is this: like, it's such a thin line, bro, between having CTE and it getting out of hand because you never know when it can get out of hand. But it's like all right, one set. It's like, are you taking the proper steps that you know something's wrong? You see something's off. Are you taking the proper steps for you to try to control it or try to get help or try to stay monitored to a certain degree? Because at the same time, everybody that play football, bro, if you haven't, you still done raised a family. You still done been successful in life. So it's not like something that's what I'm saying is the worry around it is like if you let your child play CT, it's not like something that's guaranteed to fuck them up, or it's not something that's guaranteed that you know what I'm saying. But it could happen. But that's just like death. Again, you could suit up, be prepared, like oh, I hope I don't get robbed one day, but you could also go get hit by a car. You never know when it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you could prepare for the worst,
Right.
and then the unexpected happen. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's levels. It's levels to it. It's just levels to it, bro. It's like, do you want to be leading with fear? Because, like you said, you could let them wrestle or play hockey, and they could still get CTE. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, it's like, bro, this shit been around since the beginning of time, and people still been getting things accomplished, bro. I'm not saying it's not a thing to worry about, but it's like, if you can't lead with fear.
Well, here's the thing, Dot,
And
and
you know what I related to? I'll pass it to you, Ant, is
okay.
like it's kind of like smoking, where you know it's bad, but you smoke, or you hit a vape, or you know, even if you smoking and rolling up blunts like that tobacco, it kills you, and you know it does. You know it's not good for you, but in the
Right,
moment, it's the pain you can't see, or the harm
right,
that ain't present. It's because it's 20, 30 years after or 10 years after the fact is where the effects happen. And then you got to think, you know, for every one person who got the CTE, there's a Mike Ditka or whoever who is, we see him on TV into their
right,
60s, 70s. They seem fine. Terry Bradshaw
right,
seems
right,
fine.
right.
He's 70 years old. So it's such a taboo kind of thing where you want to be a good parent and you want to steer them away from it if you can because you know the effects, but at the same time it sounds shitty to say this, but it's like we love football so much, like I don't want it to ever stop, or I don't want them to prevent the sport from being the same sport. They already done changed the tackling, they already done changed so much about it where you can't hit the quarterback, you can't the big hits are almost gone. At
Right.
some point it's like you got to just accept that there always is going to be a risk. Same with people who snowboard or skateboard or
Well,
anybody who skateboarded for 10 years has broken a leg, an ankle, an arm, something.
but here's the
Anybody who done that, it's a risk that comes with sports. It's a contact sport.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this because it's just like with boxing, and I don't want to get racial, but we know in boxing that black and Mexican fighters always produce the big money fights because when you come from nothing, that's what you hungry. You know what I mean? The best boxers are black and Mexican. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Argue with your mama. Okay. So the
Yeah,
same
straight
goes
up.
The same goes with other sports. So we all know somebody who was a dog in high school football that ended up wilding out, becoming a so-called criminal. And we was like, man, he has so much potential. Why did he fall off the rails like that? It never occurred to anybody. He might have had CTE from playing pee-wee high school football his whole fucking life. Okay?
Real talk, real
He
talk.
might have just been a nigga that was just fucked up.
Yeah, no doubt. But here's the problem, Doc. Here's the problem. This is a fact. This is a fact. They can't detect CTE until you are dead. If you're alive and have CTE, they can't scan your brain and say, okay, you have CTE. You have to be dead. You have to be dead for them to see it. Okay, so all I'm saying is
I
this.
could have it though, bro. I played football, bro. I could have
Okay.
it, but nigga, I hold down a job in the family, and I do what the fuck I'm supposed to do, bro.
No. You know what? And I would never argue that. You
Well, yeah,
absolutely
this ain't gonna be this ain't no crutch for any nigga who ever played
right.
middle
But
school or high
That's
school
my only
football.
point. Is the CTE is not such a big deal to where it's gonna be a crutch for every nigga that fuck up.
no, I'm
Antonio
not
Brown
saying that.
troll
I'm
with
not
it.
saying
Antonio
that, bro.
Brown troll with it now. He
I'm not
trolls
saying
the fact that CTE is a thing.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying this. Okay, when you take, and I hate to, you know what, this might have to wait till next episode. But when you look at somebody like Aaron Hernandez, who was playing at a high level, right? And then when he kills himself in jail, and they look at his brain, and they say, "We've never seen anybody his age have the amount of CTE that he had in his brain." You can't say Aaron Hernandez was just a fucked up individual because guess what? He
Oh,
had a
yes, you can.
whole
Yes, you
he had
can.
a
Yes,
hole.
you
He had a
can.
hole in his brain the
Yes,
size
you
of we
can.
ain't never seen before, bro.
Still though,
We've
bro.
never
Man, that's
seen
a
this
thin
before.
line, man,
He was
because
We've
young
never
doing
seen this
fucked up
before.
shit. He was young doing fucked up shit, bro.
God,
Bro, he was
and
young
also
doing
too,
fucked
man,
up
like
shit, bro.
you can't start
God,
justifying people murdering
Absolutely,
look, let me tell you
people
something.
doing shit like
absolutely,
Give
that.
me the floor. Give me the floor, please. All I'm
bro.
saying is this.
Bro.
All I'm saying is this.
He using it as a crutch,
We
bro.
are regular men, okay? When a doctor cuts his head open and sees a hole in his brain the size
That's
they ain't
it.
never seen in somebody his age and says he has
Context
CTE worse than
matters.
anybody else,
Context
bro, we can't
matters.
argue that. We
No,
can't.
we're not arguing that because two things can be true. Context matters. Two things
Okay?
can be true. Yes, he had CTE. He was just a fucked up individual too.
Brother, when they say we've never seen, brother,
Sometimes they don't gotta go hand in hand, bro.
it does though,
Hold on.
bro.
No, because time out. Junior, say I wasn't a fucked up individual from all our public accounts,
He
nigga.
shot himself in the heart.
He shot himself, nigga. He wasn't
He
killing
ain't
people,
murder
nigga.
other people.
What are you
Okay,
talking
okay.
about, nigga?
No, listen.
What are you
Just listen
talking
to me
about,
for
nigga?
1 second, please. All I'm
Man,
asking, look.
you sounded crazy, bro.
No.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not sounding crazy. I'm listening to what the doctors said. I'm not making this up. When a doctor says Aaron Hernandez has CTE worse at his age than anyone we've ever seen, you have to take that into perspective. Is all I'm
No,
saying.
you don't say that they're lying. You acknowledge that, but
Thank
you also say at the same
Thank
time you are a murderer. You're a piece of shit, and you need to
thank
go to
you.
jail or
Okay,
prison or
Ryan,
whatever.
I agree.
I don't play that
No,
mental health
I
game
agree.
when it.
Absolutely not.
I'm
No.
not
Absolutely.
playing that mental
Ryan,
health game.
I
Warren Sapp
agree.
is
I
on
agree.
Colorado Buzz football staff coaching young men right now,
No,
nigga.
but
He's
listen
not
to me.
using that as a crutch to read if he wild out and smack somebody right now,
All I'm
nigga.
saying is this: we're only talking about Aaron Hernandez because at one time he signed the biggest deal for a tight end in NFL
And he
history.
was killing
What I'm,
people, nigga, at
but
the
what I'm
same
saying is
time.
this, Doc. What I'm saying is this: what about the high school player that didn't make it to college, that has CTE and became a criminal and killed a couple people? Like, bruh, all I'm saying is this:
It
football.
could
I'm
be a
saying this:
factor, but he
football
could
could,
just be a fuck up.
brother. Football could lead to worse things. Is all I'm saying. And look,
Right.
I love football. My sons play football. Okay. I love it. But what I'm saying is this: we have to sit back and look at the science behind it, bro.
Yeah.
If Aaron Hernandez didn't have CTE, would he have killed those people? Answer me that.
I
I
think
mean, I
so.
think so. I think he was a fucked up person from jump.
I
Bro,
think
I
so.
know, this. This is what I know. Like we can sit back and do hypotheticals or what we think. What I know is that he had a hole in his brain the size that doctors had never seen at his age. That's what we know.
And he also was a murderer.
Okay,
But
yeah,
we know that
we know
too.
that too. We know
And we
that
know
too.
that too. And we know
Yeah,
that
we know
too.
that too. Facts.
We do. We know that too.
He also was a cold-blooded murderer. No
Dot.
sympathy at all
Dot.
for his victims.
A fucking
Cold-blooded
Dot.
murder.
killer, boy.
But look,
Cold-blooded murder.
look. Y'all, all right, Dot, you have daughters. Ryan, you have sons. Okay. Knowing the science you know behind CTE, you've even said yourself, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that you're thinking about having them start contact football at a later age, right?
Right.
Right. So you know what I'm talking about right now, because here's the thing, CTE is real. All I'm
Right.
saying is, if it wasn't real, you know, you would have them starting contact football right now. I would have had my son start contact football at an earlier age if CTE wasn't real. You know what I mean? I'm saying is it's real, something we have to look at, and any measures that we can take to prevent CTE, I think should be taken, because there's a lot of people that are forgotten about that have CTE that we don't even acknowledge because they were high school players that never made it to the college level, college players that never made it to professional level, that what they don't get mentioned about, but they committed a murder or they have a hole in their brain that we don't even fucking know about. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying, is that it's real and we should take measures to prevent this shit from happening, because you know what? Rudy Johnson killed himself. Would he have killed himself if he didn't play football? I'm asking y'all that.
Yeah. We don't know. We don't
We
know.
don't know. We don't know. But here's
We
the
don't
thing.
know.
Since we don't know, let's put them foam things across the helmets across the league. Let's mandate that shit. You know what I mean? Since we don't
Yeah.
know, let's do
Yeah.
something about this shit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, man. Listen, it's a definitely a very impactful topic, man, because it's affecting people's lives. I think no
Right.
one's debating if it's affecting their lives or not. It's
Right.
just to what extent and if, and things like that. But
Right.
fellas, I think that's our last topic for today. We're gonna wrap this thing up.
It was beautiful, man.
Um,
That was beautiful.
Context Matters, episode 1 on the Never Made It Network. We're gonna try to come to you guys live every
Pause.
Friday or Saturday are gonna be the 2 days that we're gonna try to get the guys together,
Oh, yeah.
and we're gonna do this, man. It was a great first episode. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow the page on Facebook. If any of y'all are hit me up and stuff on the Facebook, I don't really get on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook. So do it all on YouTube, and I will be able to see it. Comment. I'll go back and forth with y'all on all these crazy takes we're having, but. Next weekend, we'll be coming live. Another episode of Context Matters. Any final words, fellas? Dot.
Hey, Doc, go ahead.
Hey, say, man, I'm just here for a good time with my niggas, man, and we just trying to get this shit cracking. Y'all tune
Yep.
in. We got the Just Opinions podcast coming up. Me and Ant gonna get that back popping. For the ones who know, they know it's coming back. Just stay tuned, man.
Yep. And
My final word is listen, this is Context Matters. It's under the Never Made It umbrella. But I'm telling y'all, it's gonna go from never made it to we made it. So be looking out, because this is just the beginning. There's been 17 episodes of Never Made It. This is the first episode of Context Matters, and we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. Follow, like, subscribe, and we're gonna bring y'all the best content, sports best that we can. Love y'all. I'm out.
yep. All right, man. Live from Context Matters, man. Peace.
Peace.